You know just who you are, driving around chasing money in a man-made car. Do you ever think about it? Don't you think it's bizarre? You're in the Milky Way, floating around in the stars. It's like who, what, when, where, why am I? And all this time we've been just a speck in the sky. It's like a cosmic joke that can make you laugh. Your whole existence is the sum of the cosmic math. Well, if you woke up this morning, then it's...
Hey, what's up everybody, it's your boy One Gun, and I'm back again with another cool ass tutorial for After Effects. On my Facebook page, Iclone Movie Makers at Facebook, I had posted this animation up here, and let me see if I can get this started. There we go. And everybody wants to know how I did this scene where you see the ninjas like flipping up and disappearing. So it was pretty easy, but it's the process. Process is pretty easy. You have to do a couple of tricks first. One of the first things you have to do is get into Iclone. So let's go to Iclone real quick. Okay, so now we're in Iclone. And one of the things that we need to do is get rid of this image layer. And as you can see, this is the same exact scene. Maybe the sky's a little different, but it's the same scene. Yeah, it's basically it's the same scene. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to like run you through this real quick. As you can see, I have the ninjas all running, doing flips and jumping in the air, you know, the other good stuff. Now this one right here is like when he jumps up, like when he gets that jump and he jumps up, he's like suspended midair, and this one the last one just stops. And the reason for that is that we don't need any animation past this guy doing this flip. So as soon as they do this flip, I don't have to do any more animation for that, because these guys are going to disappear anyway. He's going to disappear as soon as he jumps in the air. This guy right here is going to disappear as soon as he hops in the air. The other guy's going to disappear as soon as he gets into that flip. So how did I do what I did? Hold on, let me do something real quick. Let me get out of this. And let me shut that down. So how did I do this? Well, the way I did it was I rendered, like, let's see, let's get rid of, let's just click on one of these ninjas right here. One of these guys. Here we go, this guy. So what I did is I clicked on the ninja right here, the static one, and I want this to be the only ninja in the scene when I render this out. So I'll just go over here and go to hide unselected, and that will just basically get rid of the background, everything. And what you want to do next is just go down here to render, Png Sequence, and render that whole scene out. All right, do not render, I mean, you can if you want to render video, but I do image sequences because I just like doing image sequences. You know, you can render out a video if you want to. You can do an image sequence because that's what I prefer to use, and format PNG. And when this renders out, the background is going to be clear. Make sure your background over here in your project settings is white. Make sure if it's active image, just cut that off, and just make sure the background is white. Alright, so next thing you do is you render out your image sequence, and what you'll have is a bunch of black frames, and then you're gonna get the actual frame where the ninja is running. There we go. He's running and he's gonna jump up, and he disappeared. Well, that was it. See, this is the last frame. So you're gonna get the ninja a black background, that's cool, because if this is black, if this is showing up white over here and it's showing up black over there, the background, that means the background is transparent, and then when you bring this over into AfterEffects, the background will be transparent. That's good. That's what you want. Now, what you have to do is what we just did for this ninja. You know, we rendered out all these images, right? These images files. So we rendered all these out and do what I just did for this ninja for all the ninjas. You know, so what you can go back, you can go back to scene, and then after you finish with that, you go to the next one. You go to the next ninja, hide that one, and you get the next ninja. You know, render him out in the image sequence, and then render out the next one, and the next one, and next one, next one, and so forth and so on. You know, whatever you're doing. Now, after you do that, you want to do one more thing, and that is go back and go unhide all, and then you want to go back and hide all the ninjas. Hide every last one of these guys. Alright, so all these guys are hid. So, oh yeah, and you want to hide, I use the image layer, hide the image layer too, and what you want is just a pure clean background, and then you want to render out the background from, I guess, from right here to there. So you'll do the same thing you did for everything else, but instead of rendering out the character or ninjas or whatever, you want to render out the background separate. Now, after you did all that rendering and everything, you can finally close this up. You can finally close Iclone up, and all that stuff that we had, all that stuff we rendered out, we have it nicely, neatly put into folders. Now, when you render out your characters, make sure you put each thing you render out into a separate folder, because AfterEffects will take image sequences like this and turn them into movies, and turn them into, well, a file, I guess, a movie, whatever you want to call it, animation, whatever. But it takes all those images, and you see that you're gonna see a ninja. There we go. There's an ninja flipping, and it takes them and puts them together so you could actually view them in sequence. All right, cool. So we got this one, and what we're gonna do now is go back over to that folder where we have all our separate renders, and we're just gonna grab all these and bring them, all them stuff for this one. And we're just gonna grab all these and pull them over, and then just stack them on top of one another. Just let's see. This one, the background goes at the very bottom. Let's see. This is Ninja 1. This is Ninja 2. And this is Ninja 3. This is Ninja 4. This is Ninja 5. And this is Ninja 6. Now, I think one thing you're gonna have to do is you see how this ninja is smaller than this ninja? Well, that's because that ninja needs to be behind that one, and the only way to do that is to find him, which is right there, and then find the other one, which is right there, and just basically take this file, this animation file, and just move it up under this one, and that fixes that problem. And you probably got a couple more in here. I'm gonna cut a couple more in here that probably need to be fixed. Let's see. Okay, that's cool. So all of them are pretty much where they're supposed to be, and as you can see, the background, the ninjas are like kind of like off color. Got these little white white lines around or whatever, and that's because they're like, it's like cookie cutter, you know. It's like each image is cut out, and you're gonna see a little white around the edges, but you know, with a little motion blur or some with a little motion blur, you can sort of kind of take all that out. So now we got our ninjas to where we want to, and now it's time to do some effects. So first things first, we need to go back, and we need to go to the first frame of this scene. After you go to the first frame of this scene, all right, what I do is go to control, and I just click on everything except for the I'll click on the background too. Click on the background, and what you want to do is you want to pull all those the whole animation clip all the way back here. I could have split him, but I'll say the splitting stuff for later, because that's what we're gonna have to do. And we're gonna have to split these there. So now, great, that's cool. So now I can go ahead and just hit control. Actually not control, alt, and basically slide these all the way to the beginning. Let me see. And pull this all the way up here to the end. Okay. Alright, so now we got all the ninjas and everything in the right place. Everything looks pretty good, just like we had in the Iclone. So now we're gonna go over here and just click over in this little section, so we can deselect all these guys. And I'm gonna go to the background. And the best thing about this is that since everything is separate, I can go in here and actually give this sort of kind of like a fake feeling of depth of field. And what I'm going to do is just go over here and click on background, and then I can go to effect, blur and sharpen, and I can actually do a directional blur. And let's see, I get the directional blur going this way. Let's see, there we go. And you see that it sort of kind of creates a depth of field, like if you get that blur. But this is the directional blur, and I don't know how really that's going to work, but we'll see. Let me play. Oh, that looks cool. That looks awesome. Yeah. Okay, so it kind of gives you like a look. You blurring out the background like that, it's sort of kind of like a depth of field back there. So that looks cool. That looks really awesome. And let's crank up the blur a little bit more. Let's see, length, direction. There, and that makes that background. That makes the background look like okay, so we blurred out the background, and now it's time for us to get to work on these ninjas. So, okay, so I sped up the. I actually did a couple of these guys already, and just showing you all what I've done already. So if you look at these different color ninjas, like I got these darker ones, and then you see like the lighter color ninjas. As you can see, I've already added the effects to them. They're jumping up and they're disappearing. And the reason why I did that, I want to show you what's going on here. So let's take this ninja that's closest to us. As you can see, that as he runs, he'll start to like do this little flash step, little blurry deal here, and then he slowly disappears. So he goes from like, you can see him, and he just disappears off the page. Especially this first one right here is like, he'll start running he'll start running, he'll start at this point start running a little faster. As you can see, he has like a little blur going on, and then he disappears off screen. And so does this one right here. He blurs up and flips and goes off screen, which leaves the last three. So out the last three here, I want to probably concentrate on this ninja right here. So I think that one is this one. No, I think he's this one. Nope. I think he's this one. Nope. Maybe this one. Nope. Maybe he's this one. Nope. Maybe he's that one. Nope. Maybe he's this one. Okay, I found him. He's Ninja 10 right here. So now we're working on Ninja 10, and we're gonna make him disappear like the other ones, like the first three. Because you got the first three leave screen, you got the last three right here. So what I'm going to procedurally do is show you what I did to the other ones. So this is Ninja 10, don't forget that. So with the other ones, I just basically broke them up into, I split the layer into two different sections. There's the layer that he's going to be like regular speed and running and not fading, and then it's going to be the second layer right here, which is going to be the one where he's fading out and running away. And what I used was the CC force motion blur, the fast blur, and the curve and a curve to actually make him a little more darker than the other ones. As you can tell, I used the fast blur to get rid to get that stupid little, I don't know if you see it, but the guy has like some little white trim around him. And what I do with fast blur is I use fast blur to actually blend the characters in there. Now let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go to 10, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to effect, blur, fast blur, and just cut this up to something like 3.0, and the blur is gone. The blur is gone, and he looks okay. And that's through the whole clip. Okay, so the next part of this is I want him to like match. I want his color to be the same as these two ninjas. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get an effect and go to color correction and use a curves adjustment and just pull this, go in the middle, and just pull it down until he matches the other guys. There we go. That matches them pretty good. So let's go back. Yeah, that matches them pretty good. That's a pretty good match. And now the next thing we need to do is find a place that we want him to start disappearing at, and let's say right here. Let's say about right here before he jumps. That would be a good spot. So what I'm gonna do now is grab this CC force motion blur and just put it right here and just move it up to the top. And I want to go over to edit, go to split layer, and now the layer is split. Now I have a layer where he's like regular. Then I got this layer which we're going to add. We're gonna key in the effects of how we want the character to jump up and disappear. So we're gonna move this to the beginning of this layer right here, and we're gonna go to effects. Let's get a little more space here. Go to effects, and we're gonna open up CC force motion blur. We're gonna open up fast blur, and we're gonna transform. And what we're gonna do is open up transform so we get to opacity. And what I'm gonna do in the transform section is just set a key in there for the opacity, and then we're going to set a key in for the motion sample for in CC Force Motion Blur. We want to set a keyframe here on the motion samples, and we want to set a keyframe here for shutter angle. Then down here in fast blur, we want to also put a keyframe in for fast blur. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 keys over here. Okay, so next what we want to do is we want to come up just a little bit. Let's say about right here. We're going to take our motion samples on the CC Force Motion Blur and turn it all the way up to 225, and then we're going to turn the shutter angle all the way up to 600. Let's see, let's try 600. Try 650. We just want to crank it up. I mean, it's at your own discretion how you want to do this, but 650. So when he jumps up, he starts that flash, that he starts that what's the name, that he starts to start blurring out. And we want to pull this down to, I want to pull this down all the way down to where he stops going up in the air, where his animation actually stops. And I'm probably go right there and probably go right there and cut his fast blur all the way up, something like this. Maybe pull this down to here, to back to 3, and there you have it. Okay, and about right here is when I go to the opacity channel and push that to 0. Oops, 0. So when he jumps up, he comes in, bounces up, jumps up, and he's gone. And we can push this back a little bit. Let's see, push it back to here. And he jumps up, he disappears too. And while we're here on this layer, what we want to do is come in here and right click, go to time stretch, and put this at 50%, and then hit OK. And what that does is it just basically speeds it up from right here. So it took the original time, which was at 100%, which is like regular speed, and it cut it in half to make this animation go a little bit faster. And you'll see it when I click on the play button. Now you see as he comes out, he moves faster than he did before. So, but I think what I'm gonna have to do to this is go in here to the opacity and probably just move it back some, maybe to about right here. Now let's see how that looks. That looks better. Alright. Very cool. So now the character is moving at a he's moving quickly, but as he moves, you can see his shadow moving. So that's basically how I did the flash step. Now you can also go back and you can render out the sandstorm separate. And what I did is I put the sandstorm, like, this is the one now this is one in front of, I put one sandstorm in front of him, and also put a sandstorm in the back of him. So you got the background, then you got a sandstorm, and then you got the foreground. Before the foreground, for that first thing to show up, you have a sandstorm before. So what is that? Just basically sandwich them in between the sandstorm, so it can give it a nice nice depth of field to it. No, well, it's not real depth of field, but you get what I'm saying. It's like a fake depth of field. And it came out looking pretty good. I mean, go back and play it. see what it looks like. Cool. So all we have to do now is do the last two ninjas, and I'll do that later when I get a chance to. But you all get the gist of it, of how to pull this off. And what you do is you go into Iclone, set your scene, render each asset of the scene and what you want to do is render them out separate. That's the best way to do it, is to render out everything in that scene separate. So if you got like 5 people talking or whatever, or 5 people in a scene or something like that, just render out each part of that scene out different. Just render out your people separate from the background, and whatever in the foreground, you want to render it out separate. So if suppose this ninja right here was a tree and I had some guys in the background, I will render out the tree separate. I'll render it out separate, and then whatever close to the tree, I'll render it out separate, and I'll render out everything separate till I get to the background, which will be rendered out separate. So anything that's in the scene, just rendered out separate. Now right here, I decided to make this the background because they're running on this stony way right here, this old ancient stony way. So what I did is I took the trees and that background right here, which is that stone wall right there, I just rendered that out all the same because all the action is happening in the middle. And what I want to do in the middle is take each one of those ninjas and render them out separate. So you don't have to render out everything, but you just have to make good decisions on what you should render out. So so instead of that ninja being there was a tree, you probably want to render that tree out. And once you render that tree out, you can do something cool, like put some more blur on it, put some blur in the foreground, put some blur in the background, and then you can render out your elements like I did, like the sandstorm, like they're actually in the sandstorm. So what I did is I rendered out a sandstorm and put that in the foreground, and I rendered out another one and put it in the background. So that way it looks like they're actually inside the sandstorm. It's a really cool effect. And then on the background, we just blurred that out a little bit with directional blur and a fast blur. So everybody's attention is what's going on in here, right here. So really cool effect. I like it. And then after we had composited everything together inside of AfterEffects, we brought everything into AfterEffects and we composited everything together, make sure we layered everything right. So like we had, like when we first pulled this in here, we had this ninja in front of the ninja that just disappeared, and he looked real small and stupid like, and we had to adjust that layer and pull that layer down a layer so he can fit in. And then we just added our effects one by one, and I showed you how to do it already. So I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial, and I'm hoping to get more tutorials like this done. I got lots of time on my hand now, and be on the lookout for a couple other things that I'm adding to the channel. And just to give y'all one up, I'm gonna start a Patreon. My Patreon account is gonna be starting next week. So if you all are interested in I'll put another video explaining it later, but I will have a Patreon account. Because it's just getting to a point to where it's getting kind of hard to keep my equipment up, and I want to do this full time. I really want to do this full time. I really want to do tutorials and do animations, not just tutorials. I want to do other stuff like animations. I want to do like live stream stuff on Twitch and YouTube, do giveaways and stuff like that, and that stuff can only happen because I got people looking at my content and people support me already. So I'm really looking for people to support me, and if you can, I guarantee you I will be getting more stuff out, because right now it's just kind of hard trying to balance it out, work and making money and keeping things running around here like electricity and stuff. So I can't do the stuff like I used to do like all the time. But if I can get this Patreon thing going, if I can find a couple of donors and they believe in what I'm doing and keep me going, but that'd be cool. I mean, I'd be so happy. But I'll talk about that in another video. But just be ready. I'm gonna put that Patreon thing up there. I'm gonna put my channel together, and when that happens, everybody's gonna know. So, with that matter of fact, this is One Gun Sean. I hope y'all stay creative, and I'm out of here. Peace.
If you woke up healthy, it's a good day. If you woke up refreshed, then it's a good day. So get up, get out, get on your way. If you woke up broke, it's still a good day. If you woke up diseased, it's still a good day. If you woke up exhausted, still a good day, because you woke up. So get on your way. Now if you have some today, then